Right, Paul?
Hello there.
How's things? Thanks for meeting me. I thought I'd invite you to the world's quietest, smallest pub quiz. Right, okay, so here's the thing, and I've kind of sprung this on you a little bit, I know. Right, I have this.
That looks a lot like the Chase app.
It is the Chase app that you're the star of. I played this on the tube, and I've got it set up so that you are about to come up on the app.
Oh, have you?
And I thought, how weird would it be to have Paul Sinha playing Paul Sinha, the Cinnamon, on the Chase? Has that ever happened before?
No.
Have you ever played this app?
Yes.
Right, okay. Are you ready? I want to see how you do.
Alright, okay.
Who wins,
I'll give
you
it a
or the
go.
bot? 3, 2, 1, let's go. The Reign of Terror took place during which historical period? You've gone for the French Revolution before I could even read them. Okay. Fake Paul Sinha's got that right, and real Paul Sinha's got it right. Which Coronation Street character was played by Jean Alexander? You've pressed Hilda Ogden. Fake Paul Sinha is looking down and then looking up. Yes, he's gone for Hilda Ogden too.
Who is this twat I'm playing?
He's as good as you are so far.
Oh,
Traditionally found in Western Ireland, what is a curragh?
Boat.
Boat, and you got it right.
Oh.
So did fake Paul Sinha. What did Hans Christian Andersen always travel with in case of fire? You've gone for rope. And you're correct. Fake Paul Sinha has got it wrong. Is that the first time you've ever played a quiz against a robot version of yourself?
No. I'm far too self-obsessed for that to be the first time. I've played many times. Check the form of the fake Paul Sinha, see how he's getting on.
I see, so you're old
making me feel like
bones.
I'm in a sci-fi movie.
Yeah. It's such a kind of legendary quiz now, The Chase, isn't it? How long has it been on TV for?
I mean, I joined in 2011. 2009, I think it started, and it sort of just... It was a sleeper hit, and then the Fanny Schmeller moment happened.
Here's your next question. In what sport does Fanny Schmeller compete for Germany?
When Bradley corpsed over a German skier called Fanny Schmeller. And that just propelled the show into a totally different zone.
Obviously on the Chase there was a moment that happened recently that surprised a lot of people, but you mentioned an ex-boyfriend. Were you surprised that it got such a reaction? That you basically came out to a new audience
Well,
of
I just
people?
assumed everybody knew. I've been on the show for 6 years. In that time, I have made lots of references to being gay, but they've somehow mysteriously never made the edit. There was specifically, I was asked in a final chase, this did make the edit, a few years ago, how many pieces are there to a bikini? And you couldn't ask a question that's more simple and more out of my comfort zone than that. And I got it wrong, and I said 1. And at the end,
How
two.
did you get that wrong?
I don't know.
You don't have to tell me there's 2. Of course there's 2. There's the bra bit and the panty bit.
Yeah, but I got it wrong. Bradley looked at me at the end and said bikini, and I said that question would fall to the only chaser whose lifestyle choices mean he's never seen a bikini. That was me coming out of the closet. But my Twitter profile had gay on it for years, so anybody who looked me up on Twitter could see that I was openly gay. I kept a very openly gay blog. I took a show to the Edinburgh Festival a few years ago about the fact that Jim Davison had referred to me as an Indian puff in a blog that it is, and so I called my blog. My blog was called Indian Puff for a while in honour of Jim Davison. He visited the Comedy Store once. I wrote a very vituperative blog about what he thought of the comedians on that night, and he referred to me not by name but just by the epithet Indian Puff. He's apologised since, but I just thought, well, fuck it, I'll never show out of it.
Yes, that kind of it's a beautiful splicing, isn't it, of racism and homophobia. There's something there's something beautifully efficient about
Who'd
that.
think that of Jim Davison as well?
Yeah.
I mean, who would have guessed?
There's almost a certain grace to it,
If
isn't
there
there?
was some way of telling from his entire life and career that he might have had bigoted views, then maybe I'd have...
Well, it must have come as quite a shock.
Yeah, it really came as a shock.
Why did they keep cutting out of the programme, do you think? Did they not want it to become a thing for a while?
But we have quite carefully stage-managed persona on the show, and perhaps they just didn't want it to be a thing. You know, the little intros that we have at the beginning. Who's it going to be today? Perhaps they just didn't want it to be. Is it going to be the Cinnamon? He likes cock. I don't know. Perhaps they just didn't want it to
do this kind of camp.
I didn't want it to be that way.
Flourish.
I don't know. I try not to play my life as a victim and try and own things. If someone's being nasty to me, I will fight back.
So you're of Indian heritage, and because you're homosexual, are those 2 things? Have those 2 things been an issue for you?
Not
personally?
especially.
When you came out first, for instance, was that something?
Well, you know, there was parental disappointment, but no different, I think, to a lot of parents who want the best for their son and realise that being gay comes with a bit of baggage that might make your life less easy.
So it wasn't a religious disappointment?
Certainly not. No, my parents, although they're Hindus, are not what we'd call conservative Hindus and don't live their life by particularly religious values, no.
Have you ever suffered, apart from Jim Davidson writing a review of your set, but have you ever suffered homophobia?
Scattered here and there. Sometimes, you know, you can see blokes and audiences just stop listening to you as they're disgusted with what you're saying. I remember being in a queue for a gay pub in London back in the early 90s when we were actually attacked by a bunch of yobs, and the staff just let us into the club and shut the door on them. I don't think that means anything, and I certainly wouldn't put down anyone else's experience. I've been really lucky. That said, you know, I've known people who've been far less lucky in my life, but I've been really lucky.
Let me ask the same question then about your ethnicity and whether that has led to any nasty comments, particularly in light of what's been happening recently. As a very kind of intelligent and thoughtful man, I thought, well, what's your response to the recent attacks and the upsurge that I've seen online of racism?
Well, there's an upsurge of everything online. Twitter gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's a home for everybody. Twitter and Facebook. It's the refuge for anybody who's frustrated and wants to voice their opinion and wants to be heard, and they can imagine that they are being heard by the 11 people who follow them or whatever. And I try not to take it seriously. Otherwise, you just get consumed with depression. It didn't used to be that you'd hear the voices of the truly angry, fearful, and bigoted. But with social media, all you've got to do is search a keyword, and you'll find those voices. You know, yes, we had the attack on Sunday night in Finsbury Park, and it only takes about 2 or 3 clicks to find the voices of people that absolutely supported the attack on Finsbury Park and were hailing the guy as a hero. And these people exist, we know they exist, but because of social media, they all have a voice. And it's important to realise that just because they have a voice doesn't mean their voice is important. And something that I've realised increasingly over the last few years, is that social media gives us a very distorted and extreme view of what people in the outside world are actually thinking. Because Twitter and social media tell us what people who are desperate to let the world know their opinion are thinking. I know that I look through life through daytime celebrity glasses, and that the world that I see is not necessarily the world that other people see. There's a default positivity towards me because I'm the guy on the telly. And that gives me a head start on other openly gay Asian men in society. But I would say that in my dealings with the general public, it seems to me that homophobia is on the wane, not on the increase. And this is just anecdotal, and it is just about what I experience going through life. But I think that in general, naturally homophobic people are of the, well, as long as you don't stick it down my throat, so to speak, I don't really care what you do behind closed doors.
After that story came out, revelation, Paul is gay. Did you get some trolls? Did you get nothing? Genuinely,
and I'm someone that.
So that's good.
And I'm generally somebody that searches for my name, misspellings of my name.
Really? I love you're so honest about that.
The Cinnamon, S-I-N-N-A, the Cinnamon, S-I-N-N-E-R.
Normally people are like, no, I never read that stuff.
No. I try to use it as an exercise to steel myself against people that don't like you. I think it's quite good to become stronger by seeing what complete strangers are saying about you. Of course, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of people who are on Twitter right now who absolutely loathe everything that gay people stand for. And so if they're shouting in your ear on Twitter, try and remember the thousands and thousands of people who don't have a problem with your sexuality at all. Something that I find very uneasy is the fact that the gays have come, with the more visibility of the gays, the more possibility there is that they're becoming a terrorist target with the values that ISIS represent. And it wouldn't be unheard. It wouldn't be the biggest shock in the world if a gay venue or a gay event or a gay this or gay that was targeted by terrorists. And if that should happen, I would not want the debate to be people have a problem with gays. Lots of people don't have a problem with gays, but ISIS have a problem with everybody. I would implore everybody to be more alert about the world around them and look out for any suspicious behaviour.
What do you look for, though? I mean,
I'm not just anybody behaving in a slightly suspicious manner, but what is a suspicious manner at a pride event?
Well, there might be some particularly clumsy people who go down the route of racial profiling. If you're walking through the rucksack, you might find yourself caught up in that pool.
Yeah, of course. And do you know what? If anyone wants to search my bag, do so. I've got no problem with it. I am an Asian man who wanders around large cities with a bag over his shoulder all the time. And if anyone wants to stop me for a routine search, I'll be more than happy to be stopped for a routine search. But I think we need to be alert.
Are you serious? Are you being contrary, though?
I'd say the same thing back in 2005 when we had the London bombings. And I was stopped a lot. And it was always done politely. And it was like, really sorry about this, really sorry about that. We just want to do a routine check of your bags. It was always done politely and with a minimum of fuss. And I always cooperated. And
you didn't feel that they were doing that because of your ethnicity, and therefore isn't that racist? Isn't that then part of the problem that ISIS and other terrorist groups are trying to create?
I've got to be realistic about the fact that I'm a 40-something man who travels around the country with a bag over his shoulders. But as long as people do things in a polite way, then we should cooperate with people that are trying to make the world a safer place.
It's interesting to hear you say that, because I suppose there's a lot of kind of white middle class apologists who would get very offended on your behalf.
When I was offended when I was doing a cruise ship in a couple of months ago in Spain, and when I got off the bus to go to the airport, the taxi driver stopped at a police station to get a Spanish policeman to check my details. I was offended by that because that was not his. And the policeman, to his credit, looked absolutely baffled.
So that was just a member of the public deciding that you might be a threat. Yeah. You mentioned your boyfriend. Mm-hmm. Is that something you ever talk about?
Yeah, I'm taking a show up to the Edinburgh Festival. It's called Shout Out to My Ex. It's about turning up to the Edinburgh Festival 2 years ago with a show about how happy I was that all the pieces of the jigsaw would finally fall into place, and then returning back to London and being dumped within 2 days.
That's the gay experience. Yeah. That sounds about right. Yeah, I've been through something similar.
And that's the tag on how I hang the stories of what's happened to me in the last 2 years.
What's happened to you the last 2 years is you've met
someone else in the world of quizzing. We are the power couple of quizzing.
Oh.
We're both regular finishers in the top 10 in national UK tournaments.
Okay. And who's better at quizzes?
Me, but not by a lot. It's quite scary how quickly he's catching up.
You and Oliver have been together for how long?
Since July last year.
Oh, okay. So almost a year.
Almost a year. I mean, he wouldn't know. He's not the sort of romantic person that would remember exactly when it happened. But yeah, since July last year.
Are you a gay guy that hopes for kids, or will you just get a French bulldog, or do you think you'll just be in short-term relationships your whole life, or do you want to fall in love and get married? What does Paul Sinha want?
That's a very good question, and actually I've got some clear-cut answers. Pets, no. Kids, no. Don't think my life is conducive to that level of responsibility. Good luck to anybody that wants kids, but it's just not for me, and I've known that for a long, long time. Luckily, the boyfriend feels exactly the same way. Marriage, not for me. I don't think I could put my parents through the rigmarole of a gay marriage. I think my parents have been so amazing and so great and so supportive. When I told them that I'd found a boyfriend, they were just like, oh, thank the Lord for that. I'm perfectly happy with a boyfriend. I'm passionately pro-gay marriage, passionately, to the point that I just can't understand the alternative point of view. But it's not for everybody.
And monogamy?
Well, that's an interesting question. We're in an open relationship, but I can't really say any more than that.
But it is still a conversation you have to have with a new partner, isn't it?
Oh, very much so.
Do you want to be monogamous, or actually is that not really going to work for you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can we be honest?
Spirit of honesty in the relationship. And I think that one of the advantages to being gay, if you can call it an advantage, is there is no traditional template for how you're meant to engage with your partner. Because heterosexual relationships are supposedly based on the idea of procreation and providing a loving environment for your children, and therefore, by definition, monogamy. There is no template for gay couples. You can create your own template of what works for you.
Tell people, do you know where your show's going to be and when it's going to be? You have dates in your venue, so tell people.
The whole of August at the Stand Comedy Club. I think not August 14th. I think that's my night off. But 4:55 p.m. at the Stand One Comedy Club in Edinburgh. It's called Shout Out to My Ex, and it's essentially the story of the last 2 years of my life. It started with me being dumped in the I won't give anything away, but in the most unexpected manner imaginable.
Can you not give something away?
I'll tell you after.
Tell me after the camera's switched off, because I need to know. I've been dumped in so many hilarious ways. I love hearing other people's stories. Listen, it's been really nice talking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Bye.